Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining today's stream. It is 5th of March, 11 a.m. Moscow time, and as always, I have prepared quite a number of news on some major developments. And together with news, I will share my take, my understanding of the developing stories. Hopefully, you will find this episode informative and useful. And in that case, please like the video, click that like button, leave some commentary, share video with your friends. That will help greatly to reach wider audience. And in case you want to support my work, I will just remind you that you can do it through several means. First of all, you can subscribe, of course, to my Patreon page or page on Boosty. Links are under this video in description box and will be in a pinned comment on YouTube after the stream. And you can use PayPal platform for donation, and also you can use super chat feature on Rumble, by the way. And not just donate, but also send a question if you have one, or comment on any topic, really. And you can become a premium subscriber on Rumble. That's also option there that is available on the matter of marathon that I launched last week to save this project difference. Well, we have 7 new members on Patreon and Boosty communities out of 100. That was hope. But still some time. There is still some time before end of this week. So hopefully more members from our bigger communities on YouTube and Rumble will consider to support my work while subscribing to my Patreon page or page on Boosty. Okay, that's been said, dear friends. Let's go through some news. And as I said, a lot is going on, of course. A lot is happening. And, well, let's start with this reporter from US that in Senate attempt to force Trump to stop aggression against Iran without Congress's approval was blocked. What was 48 to cut the authority of Trump to wage this war, and 52 against it. By the way, Republicans have majority in a Congress in both chambers, so no surprises there in regards to what. And after all, we should keep in mind, dear friends, that right now in US, Democrats are using current developments in the Middle East to gain some political points, because they know this war is extremely unpopular among US citizens, and their positioning is based on that largely, because majority of lawmakers, so-called lawmakers in the Congress and the Senate, are paid by whom, APAC, right? By military-industrial complex, by other special groups of interests. And if Democrats were in charge now formally, policies of the Washington would be the same. So don't fail to this trap that American ruling class is creating for public in US. There is no fundamental difference, of course, between Republican leadership and Democratic leadership in the US. It's a one criminal gang, right? It's a uniparty in US. We know that and should always keep in mind, right? But nevertheless, information itself are probably worth attention. I will make screen bigger. And the next news that I want to share with you is about bragging that is coming from Washington, desperate bragging, I will say. Yesterday, Pat Hexed bragged about how successful US militaries are in their war against Iran. He almost declared their mission accomplished. And okay, by the way, too early, in my personal opinion. And this kind of irrational behavior on part of US leadership, once again, in my opinion, demonstrates that they are desperate. They know that things are not going in a way they planned or hoped for in this war. They already know that, and that's why they are pushing on the 6th day of their war. They already are pushing hard for ground invasion, which is one way or another, but will happen. And I will get to that point in a minute. But before that, I want to share with you this information that well, we have a new timetable from US about this war against Iran. US may conduct an operation against Iran within 100 days, according to media reports. RIA Novosti is reporting. US is considering an operation against Iran for at least 100 days. And it could also likely extend into September. Political reports citing internal Pentagon documents. One more indicator that things are not going in a way that Western ruling class, White House, Pentagon was planning in this war. On Wednesday, Pentagon Secretary Pat Hegseth once again revised the schedule for military operations against Iran, allowing for its extension to 8 weeks instead of their previously announced 4 to 5 weeks. Earlier, US President Donald Trump has suggested a 4 to 5 weeks time frame for completing attacks on Iran if necessary. So let's keep this in mind that Washington is already acknowledging that they might continue this war against Iran at least for another 3 months. And you remember what I was saying, by the way, before US and Israel even launched this military operation, that and what my take was. I was saying that negotiations that US was engaged with Iran was pure bluff. In reality, US was just buying time. US leadership, American ruling class, Western ruling class, while deploying in and around the Middle East as much military assets as they possibly could, and munition, obviously building logistical lines and so on. And I was saying, if you remember, that Pentagon is focused on transferring significant volume of military assets and munition because they are preparing not for a 1 day or 2 day or 5 day military campaign, but they are preparing for many weeks of military campaign, for many months of military campaign, because in my understanding, task of the Pentagon, order of the Western ruling class to Pentagon, by the way, is to descend Iran into total chaos, to create a power vacuum, which will require total destruction, annihilation of their state in the country, state institutions in the country, and that includes, of course, all institutions, by the way, federal, let's say, government, and also local authorities in the different, in all the provinces, right? On most of the provinces. That includes also destruction, total destruction of all the infrastructure, to create a power vacuum and force people of Iran to get divided in a different fractions, mainly on ethnic, partially on sectarian lines, because there is a sectarian differences too in Iran, right? Majority is Shiite Muslim, but there are religious minorities too. There are Sunni, significant presence of the Sunni Muslims. So there are Christians, you might be surprised, or some might be surprised, but there are also Christians, by the way, in Iran, of course. There are Jews in Iran, right? And other representatives of other main religions too. And so to achieve this task, to create a power vacuum, total chaos, and force people to fight with each other for survival, state of Iran has to be erased on the federal level and the local level, right? And this could not be done without many weeks and many months of bombing campaigns, right? Military campaign against the country. And now I mean, initially, maybe some members of our community were saying that, what are you talking about, Levan? Why would the US need many months of bombing campaigns and attacks on Iran? They can obliterate everything in a few days. No, man, it does not work like that. And you see, Pentagon itself now acknowledging, according to Politico, that yes, they are preparing to wage this war at least for another 100 days, more than 3 months, probably. So I was spot on there, isn't it? As in many other cases. I mean, I'm good at this stuff. What can I say, man? I'm good at reading of the big picture, big geopolitical picture. That's how it is. And nevertheless, let's continue with another news. RIA Novosti is reporting that NATO, by the way, NATO is preparing to invoke collective defense fifth article, basically, against Iran. And this is another indicator that things are not really going in a way that Western ruling class was hoping while launching this war against Iran. And US militaries already are, let's say, behind the schedule, right? They are running out of long-range means that they have in the region. They are still launching some Tomahawk missiles, some other missiles, right? But Pentagon and Israel too, by the way, US and Israeli militaries are shifting now to more focus on Air Force. And that means they will send their pilots, their fighter jets, fighter bombers to cross the Iranian airspace and stay in Iranian airspace for a long duration and conduct strikes with their with their gravity bombs, basically, right? With the gravity bombs, because missile munition of Israel and the long-range missile munition of Israel and their Pentagon is running out, and they are seeking assistance now. I think they are seeking assistance. U.S. so-called President Trump already thanked Mark Rutte, Secretary General of NATO, for full support of this crime that U.S. leadership is committing against humanity while attacking Iran. Totally unprovoked war of choice on behalf of U.S. and Israel, on behalf of collective West, basically. And very same Mark Rutte, by the way, is already hinting about this fifth article. Let me give you details on that. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said in an interview with Newsmax that the North Atlantic Alliance may invoke its collective defense clause against Iran. And this is quote, we were prepared for this. So what we are doing now as NATO is ensuring that we protect every inch of NATO territory. 360 degrees, he responded to a question about it. I mean, and by the way, for justification, as a justification for invoking fifth article, they're gonna use information that Iranian missiles or drones targeted their territory of U.S. embassies and consulates in the Middle East, because formally embassies and consulates are sovereign territories of the countries that they represent. Because of course Iran did not attack the U.S. on its own soil, right? Iranian militaries did not strike U.S. in North America, which is a bit surprising to me. Because Iranian leadership knew, of course, Iranian military leadership included, intelligence leadership included, they knew that war is coming, right? And I'm a bit puzzled how come that neither Iran's secret services, neither militaries send their special forces through different means onto U.S. territory to get activated, right? When U.S. will attack Iran. I don't know why this did not happen. At least for now, we have not seen no reports about any attacks on our U.S. military assets inside the U.S., if I was in charge of Iranian militaries or the security services, I would definitely infiltrate US with at least several hundred or maybe even several thousand of well-trained members of the special forces, right? And would create this cell that will be activated only if US will attack Iran. And for whatever reason, seems like Tehran did not really work on that. I don't know why. Maybe we will see something in the coming days, but yeah, I mean, it is already a bit disappointing that Iranian militaries and secret services did not look this far, seems like, right? But anyways, that's the justification for NATO, how they might invoke this fifth article that, well, you see, US embassies were attacked and the consulates. And they are doing this because, yet again, US militaries and Israeli militaries are unable, physically unable. They cannot achieve their goals. They cannot achieve their tasks that being given to them by Western ruling class on their own without using nuclear weapons. And well, there might be some blackmail campaign now of NATO, European NATO leadership, that if they did not get involved in this war against Iran in next several days or week or two, then, well, Israel might begin deploying its nuclear arsenal against Iran. I think there is an element of blackmail that we have also to consider. But even if NATO will get involved, by the way, in this war against Iran, I think there is a reasonable chances that they will fail anyways, because as of now, it's the sixth day of this war, isn't it? And as of now, this coalition, satanic coalition of US and Israel, this evil coalition of the collective West, failed to initiate large-scale internal tensions in Iran. They failed to collapse their government. They failed to collapse their system that runs their country, right? They failed to provoke confrontation between different ethnic groups, different religious groups. Yet again, as of now, as of 5th of March, right? They failed to provoke large-scale defections from the armed forces, security services, and so on. They failed in everything, really. They failed in everything. They harm Iran big time, obviously. Just Israel, by the way, conducted their 5,000 strikes, more than 5,000 strikes. If you add US to that, their overall number probably is around 10,000, higher even. And of course, this is a significant damage that is done to Iran. But you know, even before they launched this war on Iran, I was saying that, well, pain will be tremendous on Iran, right? On Iranian society. And in some cases, recovery might take decades. But anything less than total chaos, provocation by the Western ruling class of total chaos in Iran, civil war in Iran, and then spelling of this civil war throughout the region, right? Iraq, by the way, neighbor of Iran, right? And then further into other countries. Unless anything less than also provoking wars between the neighboring countries, Gulf monarchies, some of the Gulf monarchies, for example, or all of them and Iran, will be defeat of the Western ruling class, defeat of US, NATO, Israel, and will be historical victory for Iran and the humanity, I will argue. And so from that perspective, probably you will agree with me that as of now, this evil coalition, this satanic coalition of US and Israel are failing on all points, despite tremendous pain that they are causing to Iranian society. So soon we're gonna hear some more, of course, about NATO's involvement into this war, but there is a high probability that even if all NATO member states will get engaged in this war against Iran, they're gonna fail, because Iranian society clearly demonstrating unity. Unity is crucial for Iran to survive. And for now, that's what they do. They are demonstrating unity and the strength. Although, as I said, their pain is tremendous. Pain is tremendous. And the Red Crescent shared information yesterday that since the beginning of the war that Israel is waging against Iran, at least 940 civilians were killed and thousands were wounded. And among the killed civilians, of course, there is about 200 children, up to 150, 160 even children were killed during the U.S.-Israeli attack on a girls' school on the very first day, during the very first hours of this crime against humanity that they are committing with this war against Iran. And I have seen other sources, by the way, this Red Crescent, but I have seen other sources that report about even higher casualty numbers among civilians, and this is just the 6th day. This is a date information by yesterday, and it was a 5th day yesterday, only 5th day of this war, and casualty numbers already are tremendous. And you have seen videos, isn't it, that are coming from Tehran, from other cities of Iran. This bombing campaign that Israel and US are conducting is very similar to bombing campaign that Israel conducted in the Gaza Strip, while leveling literally everything, right, without any care about civilian casualties. That's what they do. That's what they do about it. And yesterday during that press conference that Hexet gave, there was also this General Dan Kane, who is sort of head of general staff of US, right? They have different name for that, but that's what he basically does there. And he bragged about significant decrease on missile and drone launches from Iranian side, and he basically claimed that this is due to effectiveness of US-Israeli strikes on Iranian militaries. Partially, this could be true, of course. There are thousands and thousands of strikes, not just on civilians, but they are whenever they can. Usually they kill civilians, right? Let's be real here. Americans and Israelis, they are after civilians first and foremost, always. They kill civilians always tremendously more than they kill combatants. So they are after civilians first and foremost, but every now and then they are targeting legit targets, let's say. I mean, there is no legit targets in case of Iran, because this is absolutely legit war, right? But every now and then they are targeting combatants from their opposite side. And of course, these strikes did influence the number of launches that Iran is conducting with their missiles and the drones, but it's just a part of the story. I believe a significant role is also played by decentralization of the Iranian armed forces, right? And I think many units, I mean, they have had a plan, isn't it? That once attack is happening, well, they are beginning to operate with this plan. And it does not matter who is the defense minister, who is the deputies of the defense minister, are they killed or not? These units have their plan, and they are acting on this plan, right? And many units, I think, already conducted all the operations, all the launches based on that plan. Some units probably run out of missiles and drones, and they need to replenish their stockpiles. And dear friends, Iran has this tremendous underground storage facilities of the missiles and the drones, tens of thousands of them, right? And of course, it will take some time for the units that run out of these long-range means to get some new weapons. And in other cases, of course, it will take some time before units that still have missiles and drones, but their original tasks were already reached, so therefore they need a new plan, right? And once they will get that new plan of targets, they will continue to operate. So I would not believe in the claims of American militaries that this decrease of allegedly 86% of the launches from the first day to to yesterday, for example, is solely because of their strikes from Israel or the US. There are some other factors that we should also keep in mind, and that's why I think in next 2-3 days, let's say, we might see significant spike in drone and missile launches from Iran. And just mark my words, by the way, right? Today is what? Thursday? Let's talk about this topic on Monday and Tuesday. And let's see if there is a spike or not in launches. I think they're going to be spike because these several days, I guess, will be enough to replenish the stockpiles, right? And to get their new targets. And then they will continue. That's what I think. And as I said, dear friends, thousands of strikes were conducted on Iran already. Israeli Air Force claims that they alone targeted more than 5,000 times Iran, more than 5,000 times. If you add the US, then overall number could be well beyond 10,000, right? Way beyond 10,000, 15,000 maybe. And that's why it does seems like her Pentagon is sort of hysterical now. White House is sort of hysterical because they use their tremendous volume of their weaponry, right? Already, just it's not even 1 week over since the launch of campaign, and they use a tremendous volume of munition. And well, they need some assistance now. They will use NATO, of course, and already there is talks about fifth article. And Trump, I believe, summoned all the top CEOs of their companies from military-industrial complex in US, and you guess what they're going to talk about? Increase of production, right? Increase of production. But even if Trump will demand to double or triple production of missiles and drones and everything else, those companies not going to be able to do so. It takes many months. It takes many months, in some cases even years, to refit these companies, right? To put them on a military grade production, to put them on a full scale, full mobilization mode. So therefore, this issue that US is facing now, US and Israel, of shortage of the munition, especially long range munition, will only accelerate from now on, right? There is no quick solutions to that. Anyways, some other topics, dear friends. I mean, if you watched my yesterday's second live stream late evening, you might be familiar with some of the news that I will share in this update. But of course, different timing, right? And therefore, I have to repeat some of the news for a community of ours, for which this time is more convenient than late evening. And yesterday, for example, I shared this information that well, there are reports that U.S. targeted U.S. submarine targeted the Iranian frigate off coast of Sri Lanka. Videos are circulating. Yesterday, I even showed a video of this attack on a frigate, and Sri Lankan militaries rescued 30 sailors from this vessel. More than 100 is missing, and Sri Lankan authorities, I believe, claim that they managed to recover bodies of 70 to 80 Iranian sailors. Vessel itself sunk, according to most reports that I have seen on internet. And well, on this topic, dear friends, Abbas Araghchi, foreign minister of Iran, who confirmed the information that this vessel was attacked, he stated on his Twitter X page, the US has perpetrated an atrocity at sea 2,000 miles away from Iran's shores. Frigate Dana, or Dana, a guest of India's Navy, carrying almost 130 sailors, was struck in international waters without warning. Mark my words, Abbas Araghchi is saying, the US will come to bitterly regret precedent it has set. So Abbas Araghchi is not just issuing a dire warning for the US, but also acknowledging that this vessel actually was struck. And well, dear friends, it was a guest of India. This vessel, this Indian frigate, was this Iranian frigate was a guest of India, participating in international naval exercises. And as of now, unfortunately, I have not seen condemnation of this attack by New Delhi, which is well, unfortunate to say the least, right? New Delhi has to get some guts, man. I mean, if India has any ambitions to become a major powerhouse in this world, they have to act accordingly. And maybe today New Delhi will make some statements about this crime committed by US. There was no need to attack this vessel, by the way. You remember this cruiser Belgrano that was attacked by UK during the Falkland Wars. To nowadays, world community is united that this was a war crime committed by UK, because that warship was moving away from the battle. And there was no necessity to kill people, right, that were posing no threat for the British militaries. And in this case, we have the somewhat similar situation when this frigate was 2,000 miles away from an area of military operations and was causing no threat whatsoever to US assets, and it was targeted, while it was a guest of India, by the way, Indian Navy. But yet again, when we are talking about US ruling class, by the way, or Israel, or the Western ruling class, I mean, Western world generally, I mean, it's absolutely pointless to search for humanity there. Because this Western world is led by absolutely inhuman scum. Absolutely inhuman scum. Period. And I feel sorry, I truly feel sorry, by the way, for good citizens of the Western countries. I can imagine how depressed they are to understand that their country is being hijacked and being run by this scum. It is what it is. Iran, meanwhile, is of course tries its best, Iranian militaries, to retaliate on hostile side. And well, reports were coming in yesterday about successful Iranian strike on US Arleigh class destroyer. And unlike case with the Iranian frigate, there are no videos confirming the successful strike on US destroyer. But what we do have is this image from day earlier, when Iran also claimed that they struck successfully another Arleigh class destroyer. And I was skeptical. I have to say, by the way, I was skeptical about this story. I always say, let's take any information with a grain of salt, because it's a fog of war, right? And you never know what is actually going on in reality. During the war, all sides are operating in a specific ways, right? But yesterday, this picture emerged, this image emerged on the internet. Of course, low quality satellite imagery made nighttime, I guess, and on this probably by Chinese satellite. And on this image, according to expert assessments that I have seen, you can see Arleigh class destroyer of US battling with the fire on board. This red dot here in the middle, that's the area of increased temperature, right? And when I saw this image, and destroyer it was itself was in Oman, Gulf of Oman, by the way. When I saw this image, I remember those reports from Iran that they successfully struck a U.S. warship in exactly in the area off coast of Oman, right? So U.S. Navy is also taking hits, by the way. U.S. Navy is also taking hits, and well, sometime in the future, probably we will learn how serious those hits were and how damaging. This morning, number of media outlets are reporting that U.S. Presumably lost another F-15 fighter jet. There are always F-15s in the picture. As of now, there was no reports about F-18s being destroyed or F-35s. It's constantly F-15s. And if this report is true, and report is coming from Israeli channel 14, right? This information is not coming from Iran. It's coming from Israeli side. And if reports are correct, then U.S. lost its fourth F-15, at least fourth F-15, and the previous three was intercepted in and around Kuwait, right? And the Kuwaiti side claimed that it was them that intercepted these American F-15s due to miscalculation and miscommunication. I find it hard to believe that it is even possible three fighter jets, fighter bombers, to be intercepted by friendly fire in one single day. I don't think this kind of stuff has ever happened in the world's history, right? So therefore, I definitely don't believe in those reports. There is a probability that Iranian fighter jets successfully intercepted those F-15s. And well, now this report from Channel 14 that a U.S. F-15 fighter jet crashed in western Iran. Okay, could be case. We will find out. Some more. But yet again, out of desperation, U.S. is, of course, U.S., Israel, collective West is intensifying their false flag operations to draw Gulf monarchies into this war. And there was already numerous strikes, by the way, on energy infrastructure of Gulf monarchies. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, you name it. Numerous strikes on energy infrastructure. Iran denied allegations from the West, from the US, for example, that it's Iranian forces that are targeting this infrastructure. And it makes sense that Iran has nothing to do with it, because main buyer of energy from Middle East, by the way, is a strategic partner of Iran, China. And in no circumstances, Tehran will jeopardize relationships with Beijing this time, when they desperately need any assistance they can get, because they are in a war which is an existential war for them, right? For the US, this is not an existential, but for Iran, it is existential, because West is out there to destroy Iran, to erase Iran from the political map, and to destroy whole of Middle East. But yeah, that's another story. And anyways, as I said, West, Israel, they are accelerating their false flag operations to further push Gulf monarchies to enter this war against Iran. As of now, they failed to succeed in that, but they're not going to stop. They're going to continue, right? Impose the pressure on these monarchies there. And yesterday, reports came in that one of the biggest Saudi Aramco oil refineries was struck in a Ras Tanura area. And it's not just that, but there was also reports about oil refinery being targeted in Kuwait. And you can see right now image on your screen of exact moment when this happened. Massive explosion there. Iran denies that it has intentionally targeted energy infrastructure of any of the Gulf states, right? And reasonable question is, who is doing this then? And if you keep in mind that there are also rumors that Saudis and UAEs, literally a few days ago, allegedly, yet again, arrested Mossad assets, well, we have an answer. We have an answer. It's, of course, US and Israel, with assistance probably of British secret services that have a massive presence, by the way, in the Middle East, right? That's what is going on. And I have to say that I think Russia and China deserve a great deal of acknowledgement for its efforts, for its diplomatic efforts, thanks to which, largely, I think Gulf monarchies are still staying out of this war against Iran. I reminded you, friends, that a couple of days ago, Russian president practically a whole day was having negotiations with the leadership of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, UAE. And have no doubts, main topic of discussion was regional developments, and there have no doubts that Russian president was insisting with the explanations why should all these Gulf monarchies stay out of this war no matter what, because this is only wise decision. This would be only wise decision on their part, even if Western ruling class will confiscate all their assets in the West, and we are talking about hundreds of billions, potentially trillions. Even if Western ruling class will confiscate all their assets of these Gulf monarchies in the Western jurisdictions, they will be better off stay out of this war against Iran, because if they are in, then they are finished. It's just that obvious. And I'm quite sure Moscow and Beijing did try whatever they could to explain the big picture to these monarchies. And hopefully they did it successfully. As of now, Riyadh, Doha, Abu Dhabi, and the rest, they are staying, Malama, whatever the Bahrain's capital is, they are staying out of this war. So I will assume Moscow's and Beijing's diplomatic efforts were successful for this particular moment, at least, right? And let's hope it will stay this way. And Masoud Pezeshkian, president of Iran, by the way, once again stated that Iran respects sovereignty of Gulf monarchies, and there has no intention to destroy relationships, to provoke a war with them. Iran is only retaliating on aggression and striking intentionally on military assets of the hostile side, which is US and Israel, right? And I can give you quotes from Pezeshkian's statement on his Twitter X, I guess. Your Majesties, he's addressing these royal families of the Gulf monarchies, heads of friendly and neighboring states. We have strived alongside you and through diplomacy to avoid the war. But the American Zionist military aggression have left us no choice but to defend ourselves. We respect your sovereignty, and we believe that the security and stability of the region must be achieved through the collective efforts of its states. Very clear, direct statement from Iranian president. And if anything, these Gulf monarchies should demand from US to withdraw its forces immediately. Immediately. I don't think they're going to do it, but they should. They actually should. And right now, Scooby, thank you very much, Scooby, for super chatter. Scooby commented there with true super chatter on my Rumble channel. And Scooby, I will read your comment. I will react on your commenter in a few minutes. Once I will finish this segment of Middle East, because there is a lot of other news to share that I want to share. And straight after this Middle Eastern part of this new segment, I will react on your super chat. Thank you very much, of course, for sharing and for donation of the $2 through this super chat. And let me continue, dear friends, with some other news now. And well, yesterday, very many media outlets, a lot of sources claimed that Turkey intercepted the first time since the beginning of this US-Israeli war on Iran, missile on its airspace that crossed the border from Iranian side. And Tehran reacted on this report. Iranian armed forces respect Turkish sovereignty and deny launching a missile towards its territory. The General Staff of the Islamic Republic's armed forces stated. So it's not just Gulf monarchies that Israel and US and their allies, Brits and so on, are pushing to enter the war. It's Turkey also. But well, if they are struggling to pressure to force Gulf monarchies to enter this war, then they're definitely going to fail with their Turkey, because Turkey definitely don't want Western ruling class to succeed in its plans. And I have no doubts there is a good enough analytical or bureaus in Turkey, good enough think tanks that can actually well enough analyze the situation that is going on, had a good reading of their big picture, and they probably are informing Turkish leadership about real developments, right? Real agenda that is hiding behind their actions of the Western ruling class. And so Turkey definitely going to stay out of this war. Earlier, there was also a report that Incirlik air base in Turkey was targeted, which this air base is one of the biggest ones, by the way, in NATO, and mostly are operated by US militaries. There was a time, sir, when US was stationing their nuclear weapons. Maybe they still have nukes there in Incirlik. I don't know. But that information was also denied there, not just by Iran, that they targeted Incirlik, but also by Ankara. Turkish officials also said that there was no attacks on Incirlik air base. So clearly another false flag operation on behalf of Israel, US, UK, and whoever was involved in that missile launch, right? Also, RIA Novosti is reporting that, well, Iran officially claims, according to media reports, that they have not closed Hormuz Strait. They did not shut down no navigation through Hormuz Strait for now. And you know what? This information actually makes sense to me. Information that Iran was shutting down Hormuz Strait never make any sense to me personally, right? It was counterproductive for Iran. But this information that Iran has not closed the Strait of Hormuz actually illogical, makes all the sense. So let me give you details. Iran has not closed the Strait of Hormuz and continues to interact with the passing vessels in accordance with the international protocols, said Kaimarser Haidari, deputy commander of the Khatam al-Anbiya military command center headquarters. So it's official. It's an official statement. And that means, by the way, that all these speculations about Iran shutting down Hormuz Strait is also false flag operation of US and Israel. And we know that London's Lloyd's is no longer insuring the vessels that are passing through Hormuz Strait. That's one of the reasons why many vessels are stopped, basically, right? And are not moving in either direction. And simultaneously, we know that number of vessels were targeted. Number of vessels were targeted in and around Hormuz Strait, and at least on several instances, Iran claimed that they had nothing to do with it. For example, when tanker was targeted in Oman, in Omani port, initial claims from Western media was that Iran targeted this tanker, but Tehran denied it. They said that they had nothing to do with it. So who targeted them? Portal infrastructure in Oman and the tanker. Answer is clear. Answer is clear, by the way. It's US and Israel, correct? And after all, I mean, what I was saying since forever now, that Western ruling class wants to destabilize whole region to shut down navigation where? In the Persian Gulf and through Hormuz Strait. And that's what they are doing, by the way. That's what they are doing. All Iranian officials say, when it comes to official statements, is that they will take special measures in regards to vessels that are linked to US and Israel. They're not going to allow them to move around freely, but rest, feel free to go. So Western ruling class already began implementing their plans in regards to shutting down navigation in the Persian Gulf. Already they have started doing this. And some, I know, by the way, some members of our community were critical of me that, you know what, if West will shut down navigation there, that will hurt Western economies also. Yes, it will. It will. Of course, it will hurt Western economies. 30%, around 30% of energy for the world economy is coming from Persian Gulf, through Hormuz Strait, from the region. So absence of this volume, this tremendous volume of energy on the world market, of course, will cause a tremendous increase in the prices on energy. And that will then, of course, have its influence on prices of everything, because anything you buy, there is a price of energy in that. Anything you buy, there is a percentage in the prices that comes from energy cost. And so shutting down navigation in the Persian Gulf and through Hormuz Strait will definitely hurt whole world economy, including Western economies. But more important question is, are Western elites really care about ordinary citizens of the Western world? Did they ever demonstrated with anything that they have any care about citizens of the Western world? No, they didn't. They don't care, man. Why you think British elites, British ruling class cares how much electricity gonna cost for ordinary citizens somewhere in Liverpool, by the way? Why you think so? That they care, man? They don't. They don't, right? Why you think German leadership or political elite and the globalist masters care what or how ordinary German gonna pay in, I don't know, Hamburg, by the way, for gas? They don't care, man. They don't. Although what they do want, these Western elites, is to keep situation under strategical control, right? In the general terms. And to do so, of course, they will try to minimize harm that will be done to Western economies. And you think why Trump went into Venezuela, richest country with the oil reserves? few months, literally few months before they launched the war on Iran. You think why US sent its militaries into Nigeria, another oil-rich country? Is it random developments? No, it's not, right? You think what's going on in Angola, by the way, another oil-rich country, and which side is trying to be in total control there? Aliens? No. So there was an upfront work done by the Western ruling class to minimize damage that they will have to endure their economies, right? And they are ready for that because they are fighting in their mindset. They are all about world domination. They are fighting for world domination. And they cannot imagine themselves, right? They cannot see themselves being equal among many. No, they don't want to be equal. They want to be dominant force. And they will sacrifice anything and everything for this goal, right? Because yet again, we are talking about generational clans, generational families that are running the world basically in large for the last 300 to 500 years. And those people cannot change, man. Those people cannot change. They never hear in their lives what is the no. All they hear is, yes, sir. That's it. Right? Do it to this dominance. And they're not going to be able to change. Only language, that's why I say always, only language they understand and anybody understands is a language of force, language of pain. And well, until humanity will bring the pain to the Western elites, Western ruling class, they're not going to change their behavior. Not happening. We all understand this, right? So good statement, by the way, good statement. I have heard similar statements before in past several days, but due to this fog of war, I was struggling to understand, is it real or not? What's going on here? But I mean, it's like third or fourth time I'm seeing these kind of reports that Iran did not officially shut down navigation there. So must be someone else then who is blocking their shipping, and who is that someone? US, right? Western ruling class, US, Israel, and so on. Anyways, let's continue with some other news. And well, you know, I already said that Western elites are hysterical. US ruling classes are quite hysterical because things are not going in a way that they were planning, and already front of schedule, I think, front of schedule, Washington is beginning to activate their assets that they were planning to use anyways, but maybe a bit late, on the ground there in Iran, right? And you know what I was saying, by the way, before US-Israeli attack on Iran, I was saying that, well, they're going to use their assets among Kurdish armed formations. They're going to use their assets and connections with the Beluji formations also. Kurdish formations are on the western side, Beluji is on the southern eastern side. There are other groups too, right? And that's exactly what is happening. And the Wall Street Journal, for example, reports that Trump plans to arm Kurdish separatists in Iran, in western Iran. And allegedly, Washington is already in talks with the leadership of Iraqi Kurdistan, so that Iraqi Kurdish armed Kurdish formations from Iraqi Kurdistan will enter this war on behalf of US, and already, but and this is one direction. There is several directions that Western ruling class wants to move forward with their ground operations, right? One is minorities, Kurdish minority, Beluji minority, some other minorities. Another is to draw Gulf monarchies into a war, right? And the third direction is to use potentially, if they manage to do so, Turkey and Azerbaijan for incursions into Iran to create a beachhead for further advances, right, on the ground. And yesterday, number of sources, including that Mossad agent Barak Ravid, or whatever their freaking name is of that nobody, that Mossad agent that possesses as an Axios journalist, claimed, and I've seen his Twitter X post, by the way. He claimed that Kurdish formations from Iraqi Kurdistan cross the border and enter Iranian territory, and they are advancing rapidly and destroyed all their military local, garrisons of their Iranian militaries and the border guards and so on and so on. Other elements also were pushing actively this narrative, this information. And it turned out to be disinformation, by the way. It turned out to be false reports, intentional lie, not surprisingly. And for example, we have this official report now that source from Iranian Kurdish opposition group, Komala of the toilers of the Kurdistan, told the Rudo, that's some media outlet there, that they dismiss media reports that their group has launched their ground offensive into Western Iran. Period. They are, even if Washington is engaged in some talks with their Kurdish formations, either in Western Iran or in Eastern Iraq, in Iraqi Kurdistan, Kurds are denying that they have launched any military operation against Tehran. They are denying these claims. And what happened is, it's US and Israel, by the way, bombed their Iranian border guards positions, Iranian militaries that were stationed in a borderline area, right, between Iran and Iraq. And this bombing campaign was presented by these propagandists, this Barak Ravid, criminal, and others, as a Kurdish offensive on Tehran, which is not true. Yet again, tomorrow things might change, and Trump might actually succeed. Trump, his administration, Israel, they might succeed persuading Kurdish leadership to launch the military campaign against Iran, to join this illegal war, which will be a grave mistake on their part, of course, right? But as of now, Kurds are out of this war. They are not they are not joining war against Iran for this particular moment. And this is a report from Vzglyad newspaper, for example, that Iranian military installations and the posts near the Iraqi Kurdistan region were attacked by airstrikes. And Kurdish forces in Iraqi Kurdistan had no air force, right? It was a US-Israeli attack, and they are preparing ground. They are preparing ground, softening the Iranian defenses on the border with Iraq, to make it easier for Iraqi Kurdish formations to advance on the territory, to launch their military operation. But yet again, if Iraqi Kurds will agree on that, and if Iranian Kurds will participate in that, that would be a grave mistake on their part, of course. And Baghdad, by the way, already made a claim that they will not allow nobody to attack Iran through their territory, and the Iraqi Kurdistan is Iraqi territory. And Kurdish leadership should be wise, because they might trigger war with their Iraqi Shiites. Iraqi Sunnis might stay out of it, but Iraqi Shiites, and it's a majority, by the way, in Iraq, or they might actually go ahead and began dealing with their Kurdish formations in the Kirkuk area, in Idlib area. Not Idlib, but in Kurdistan, by the way, right? I cannot remember all the freaking cities in this world, right? So yeah, they should be very wise.
those Iraqi Kurds, because they might trigger something that they are not really ready for. They might trigger war with Baghdad. Also, by the way, rumors were yesterday that Azerbaijan increased its military readiness of its forces on the border with Iran. And well, speculations began straight away that Azerbaijan might enter the war in support of this U.S.-Israeli aggression, and Azerbaijan might use its influence among Iranian Azerbaijanis to create tensions between Azerbaijanis and the Persians, right? Divider, and to basically help West to provoke this civil war inside the country. And I spoke about this yesterday during the live stream, by the way. And if anything, if Baku will be that unwise to actually directly get engaged in this war against Iran on behalf of US and Israel, on behalf of Western ruling class, then I think there is a high probability that Iranian Azerbaijanis will take care of them. Iranian Azerbaijanis themselves will take care of this incursion force from Azerbaijan Republic, former Soviet Republic, by the way. These are same ethnic group, but with very different mindset, by the way, with very different mindset, right? And Azerbaijan is our second largest ethnic group in Iran. And I spoke about this big time nation builder group. And it's going to be very difficult for the Western ruling class to actually manage successfully provoking full-scale war on ethnic lines between Persians and Azerbaijans, because both are nation builders, both. So Baku should be very careful. Baku should be very careful. Just because they increased their alert readiness or readiness of the forces on the border does not mean that they are about to enter the war, right? It's just precautions on their part. Armenia, I'm quite sure, Armenian forces are close to border, and the border guards also receive orders to increase their readiness, because God knows what's going to happen. But direct invasion of Iran by either Azerbaijan or Armenia, I don't think so, man. That would be suicidal for them. That would be suicidal. I don't think this is happening. Although territory of these republics definitely, most likely, will be used against Iran, and they are probably already being used against Iran. I remind you that a few weeks before a U.S.-Israeli war has been launched against Iran, Vice President of U.S., J.D. Vance, was traveling into Southern Caucasus and having a meeting with the leadership of Azerbaijan and Armenia, and I'm quite sure main topic of discussion was Iran. What these republics, Azerbaijan and Armenia, can do for US and Israel in regards to Iran, and they probably agree on anything with the exception of direct involvement of their forces. So they will allow to use their airspace. Azerbaijan probably will allow to use their ground even, right, for the attacks. But that's about it. I don't think either Azerbaijan or Armenia will even consider sending their troops into Armenia. It's too crazy, man. Too crazy, right? I know there is this, Anna is telling me that there was a super chat from Scooby. I spoke about it. Once I will finish this Middle Eastern segment of Middle Eastern part of update, I will react on a super chat. And so, yes, that's what I think, by the way, on the matter. And right now you can see on your screen this ethnic map of Iran, which is more or less correct one, as far as I can tell. And yes, Kurdish minority is living, as you can see, this yellow line, by the way, is areas where predominantly Kurdish
minorities living, and these regions are bordering with Turkey and Iraq. This is this sort of a blue area is bordering with Armenia and Azerbaijan, and that's where predominantly Azeri people are living, Azerbaijanis, right? And there are many other areas, by the way, right? There's many other ethnic groups, big and small, but two major ethnic groups are Persians and Azerbaijanis, of course, right? And so yes, don't believe in those rumors that you might come across today also, that Iraqi Kurds launched a military operation against Iran, and the Azerbaijanis are about to enter this war and send their troops. They're not going to do nothing, by the way, right? They might allow NATO and Israel, US and Israel, to use their airspace, maybe ground, but they would not get involved directly because that would be suicide for them. And there also, I want to share different information that Russian Pacific Fleet leave the Vladivostok, far east of Russia, to conduct operations in their Asia-Pacific regions. And when I saw this report, I was thinking, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, Moscow is preparing ground to make a stand there, and send a clear message to Western ruling class that they have to stop. They have to stop. Otherwise, Moscow will get engaged. Maybe Moscow is preparing ground to make a stand as Moscow did there in 1971, when Soviet Union at the time sent its fleet there, and there are a clear message with it to the US-led anti-Indian coalition to stop. And don't go ahead with attacks on Iran, on India, otherwise Soviet Union would retaliate. And at the time, in 1971, this worked. And India was saved there. Bangladesh gained their independence, right, from Pakistan. It was called their East Pakistan, right, at the time. And Soviet Union did what was right, what was correct. And there maybe, while sending the fleet again towards that area approximately, maybe Moscow is preparing ground to make a stand again. I will support that. I will definitely support if Moscow will send a clear message that if you don't stop attacking Iran, if you will continue destabilizing whole region, we will get involved. I would love to see Moscow making such a stand, because if Western ruling class succeeds with their plans in regards to Middle East, that will be such a scale of threat for Russia and Russia's security and security of the Russian people that we cannot allow this to happen. We just simply cannot allow this to happen, because it's a borderlining with their suicide. If Russia, and also China, by the way, if we allow Western ruling class to succeed in destruction of not just Iran but the entire Middle East, and that's what their plan is, if we allow Western ruling class to shut down navigation into Persian Gulf and through Hormuz Strait for years to come, not just for a day or two or a week, but for years, and that's exactly what they want. If we allow this to happen, that would be suicide on our part. That's how great the risk is for our safety and security. And I will support her absolutely 100% if Russian president, Russian leadership is preparing ground to make a stand, right? Protecting not just Iran, but whole of Middle East, actually, and whole of humanity, I will argue. Many people don't understand how dangerous the situation is, man. Many people don't understand how dangerous the situation actually is, man, because especially in the West, because they've been
majority of society in the West being misled, by the way, by propaganda, so much so that I don't think that majority there in the West is even capable of acknowledging their objective reality when they see it. They will struggle to believe to their own eyes. That's how much they are indoctrinated in this bubble of their imaginary world that they are living in now. And by the way, I'm not alone for sure when I'm saying that I will support absolutely if Moscow will make a stand. Even better if together with Beijing. And well, as a confirmation that I'm definitely not alone, who will support this strong stand of Moscow is that, well, Abdialaudinov, for example, head of Russian Ahmad Special Forces, also stated that he is even ready, by the way, to fight for Iran. So Lieutenant General Abdialaudinov, commander of the Ahmad Special Forces, and this is Moskovsky Komsomolets media outlet here in Russia, big name, by the way, here in Russia, since the Soviet era. So Moskovsky Komsomolets is reporting that Lieutenant General Abdialaudinov, commander of the Ahmad Special Forces, called for giving Iran everything possible and supporting the country in every possible way. He made this statement in a video published on his Telegram channel. The general also stated that he was ready to go to fight for Iran to help propel American invasion if such a decision was made by Russian leadership. For 4 years now, United States and other NATO countries have been supplying Ukraine with weapons to fight Russian troops, Alaudinov recalled. Previously, political scientist Yuri Samonkin suggested that the conflict in the Middle East will not end in a third world war, as the United States, Israel, and Iran lack their financial and human resources to move to the level of a global confrontation. Okay, I mean, that's a whole different story there, but on part of this political scientist, Yuri Samonkin, I have no freaking idea who that guy is man. But I know, I'm quite familiar with the name of Abdialaudinov, acting general of the Russian armed forces, head of Ahmad Special Forces, and he is very clear in his statements that Russia should assist Iran with all means necessary, and he personally said that if order is given by leadership of country, he is ready to go and fight for Iran. And I will make it little. I would went even far. He will fight if order is given. If Russia makes the stand there, this will be fight for whole of humanity, not just for Iran, but not just for the Middle East, strategical stability in the Middle East, but this will be fight for Russia. This will be fight for whole of humanity, because in no circumstances we can allow Western ruling class to succeed in this evil plan that they have to destabilize the whole Middle East, right? Engulf in fire on ethnic and sectarian violence, in the wars between the neighboring countries, and then to shut down navigation in the Persian Gulf and through Hormuz Strait for years, right? This is this Iranian segment, dear friends, this Iranian chapter. This is just a chapter, one chapter in a longer standing strategy of the Western ruling class to destroy Russia and China in their attempt to maintain dominance in the world. We should understand that this is all connected. Nothing happening on such a scale randomly, right? It's all part of a bigger plan that Western ruling class has about domination in this world. And well, few more news about this Middle Eastern developments as of now, and then I will give you additional information about some other developments, also interesting ones. And then before I end the live stream, of course, I will go through some latest reportings in the media and their Telegram channels, because this live stream is already an hour, I guess, more than an hour and 20 minutes. So of course, in this time, some additional reports were made there in the media, so I will share that too with you. So stay tuned as as say goes, isn't it? And so I want to share this report also. That was originally coming from New York Times, that Iran intelligence allegedly signaled their opponents' openness to the talks with the CIA to end their war. And I mentioned this topic yesterday, dear friends, during the second late evening update. And I think this is yet another false narrative. I mean, war is going on not just on the battlefield, not just at sea, air, ground, but war is going on in a media field. There is a psychological war also that is happening, right? And all these claims from the West that Iranian leadership is seeking contact with the American side, they're seeking de-escalation and are ready to capitulate in that kind of garbage. This is a psychological warfare. This is a pure psychological warfare. In many instances, Iranian leadership said that, well, they are not against the escalation, absolutely not, but they don't know with whom to negotiate, and if it's even possible to negotiate with the Trump's administration. I mean, if you were on Iranian leader, by the way, or one of the leaders, you tell me, how would you negotiate with the American leadership? I mean, how? Is it even possible after what they did? They bombed Iran twice, by the way, in the middle of the negotiations, right? So that's what our Iranian position is. We never was for a war. We never wanted the war. And that's why we were engaged in the negotiations to find the ways to de-escalate the situation, to find the ways to get out of this crisis, right? But look what US did. They bomb us. They launch a war against us exactly in the middle of these negotiations, when there was even a high hopes that some progress might be reached. And so how should we negotiate now? With whom? Who we can trust? There is anybody in the US leadership that will honor the agreement, even if agreement is reached? That's the dilemma that Iran is facing. I'm quite sure Iranian leadership would love to see the escalation. We all want to see end of this crime that US and Israel and collective West is committing. But with whom and how are you going to negotiate that? And that's a big question, right? And so Iranian officials denied on several occasions now that they are engaged in any kind of talks with Washington or seeking the negotiation, because yet again, they don't know how to negotiate with them, right? Because, American side will not honor anything at all. And I can understand Iranian leadership's position on that, right? But so therefore, this is all part of these all claims, by the way, that coming from Western officials, including Trump, who on several occasions already claimed that, well, Iranians are seeking talk, but it's too late now, and he's acting tough, like he's a primitive. He's a freaking primitive, isn't it, that Trump? He might have like one brain cell, and that's about it. One operational brain cell. Extremely primitive creature, right? And that's why he always tries to act this tough. I mean, so tough. Iranians are begging for talk, and I said no, it's too late. Go kill yourself, dirty fucking filth. I mean, Trump is a filth of humanity, right? Okay, I'm not gonna get too emotional, by the way, right? But Trump is a scum of humanity. It's a bastard of orangutan, right? That's what he is. This fucking bastard of orangutan. I don't know how his mom fucked with the orangutan, but somehow she did. That freaking prostitute. Fuck him all, man. Fuck his fucking family. That dirty animal, man, Trump is. No respect for this scum of humanity, man. No. Disgusting creatures, man. Fuck him all, right? And so even that dirty bitch, Trump, is a part of this this shit, right? That they are coming up now, this deception that Iran is seeking talks, which is false. And Netanyahu is also engaged in this shit, right? In this another prostitute, another scum of humanity, this genocidal maniac and the animal, Netanyahu, a rabid animal, is also engaged in this psychological warfare, right? Fuck them all, man. I mean, we should kill them all, actually, right? All these rabid animals. I'm talking about rabid animals, by the way. We should kill them all of them. No mercy, because you cannot have mercy towards rabid animals, man. It's actually merciful if you kill them, right? Anyone will tell you that. So, yes, this is psychological warfare. Trump is engaged in this warfare personally. Netanyahu is engaged on this warfare, many others, right? And that's why Axios is also pushing, not just New York Times, but Axios and many others are pushing this false narrative that, Netanyahu allegedly asked the White House, is there actually secret talks happening between Washington and Tehran? This poor bastard, Netanyahu, I mean, this poor bastard has no freaking idea what's going on. He don't know much, and he's asking White House. While in reality, he probably knows, this dirty animal knows better than Trump knows what the U.S. policies is and what Washington does and not. Netanyahu actually knows better than Trump everything about Washington and Washington's policies. Am I correct on that? 100%, by the way, correct, right? 100%. So this is, we should keep in mind that there is not just a warfare with weaponry in our air, sea, ground, but there is also psychological warfare that these animals, rabid animals, that are in charge of Israel, US, and other countries from collective West are engaged in, right? Something to keep in mind there for sure. And right now, different. Sorry, I went a little emotional. I'm not apologizing for calling rabid animals that filth, right? They are rabid animals. No apologies for that, but apologies for my French, right? I hate when I go emotional. I don't like that at all. But come on, man. Do you have any respect for either Trump or Netanyahu? I mean, honestly, guys, do you have any respect for them or their corrupt families? Fuck their families too, by the way, right? They are animals too. They are rabid animals too. All of them. They are benefiting from death of thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of humans. So I'm no way I'm gonna have any respect for any fucking creature that benefits from killing others, right? Innocent. No respect for them. Fuck him all. Okay, yet again, sorry for my French, little emotional, but times are crazy, man. Times are crazy. I mean, they are parasites. I see comment of Mickey on Rumble. They are parasites actually on the human on the body of humanity. They are parasites, by the way, right? Let's be real about it. And so there was before I go through some other news, by the way, that was about it for a Middle Eastern segment for this moment. As I said before I end the live stream, I will check latest reports that happened literally in past 1.5 hours since I launched live stream, and I'm quite sure they're gonna be some updates, of course. And now let me give you let me react on super chat from Scooby. There was a super chat on Rumble, and thank you very much, Scooby, again for your super chat and the $2 donation on Rumble. And Scooby is commenting, as a Christian, the revelation of Jesus tells that a global fascist government emerges that has a false prophet preaching false doctrine and their beast propaganda or AI. Do you believe this, Levan? Well, I am a Christian too. I'm Orthodox Christian, right? And I mean, what I do believe is none of us, none of the humans know what is the God's plan. Right? Let's begin with that, with basics. None of us know what is the God's plan, right? And all the humans that think they can somehow influence God's decision-making process is just needs to check up his freaking head, right? Some people are actually as arrogant as to think that they can, with this action or that action, influence God's decision-making process and fast-track second coming and stuff like that. I mean, there are plenty of these so-called Christian Zionists that actually believe that they can trigger second coming. Clearly psychopaths, right? So I have no freaking idea what to say. I mean, I'm Christian in Orthodox Christianity, dear friends. We don't live with this some stranger doctrines that are adopted in the Western Christianity, right? We don't have no like Orthodox Zionists, right? Orthodox Christian Zionists. So there is no such a thing in Orthodoxy, right? We don't put Israel before either Orthodox Christianity or before any of our Orthodox brothers and sisters. We don't give a fuck about Israel, by the way, right? We just don't care about Israel. No any more than we care about any other country, right? I never heard in my life, and I speak mostly, by the way, I talk with people of different religion, obviously, but most people that I communicate in my entire freaking life is Orthodox Christians. I never heard ever anybody saying that well, Israel is number one. We have to be all for Israel because that's what God tells us. There is no such a psychopathy in Orthodox Christianity, right? And therefore I don't know what to say. I mean, there is a belief. There is a belief that there will be false Jesus, kind of. False prophet, right? Not false Jesus, but false prophet that will brainwash the people. And you know what? In many ways, one might say this prophecy actually has happened, and Western elites quite effectively brainwashed majority of their society there in the West, right? But but I'm not that deep in all this stuff, man, right? False prophet, false doctrine, beast, and that kind of stuff. I don't really pay much attention to that stuff. I don't think of that. And I don't take Bible, by the way, literally. Every single word literally. And I don't think we should. I'm not a theologist, right? But I do understand that Bible was translated from one language to another, and there was many copies were made by different people in different times, right? And Bible that we have now, there's a high probability that Bible that we have now is way different than original. There's a high probability of that, isn't it? And there is many other books also in Christianity, by the way, right? That in some ways challenge some dogmas that are coming from Bible. So I don't think we should take everything literally from Bible, man. It makes no sense, right? It makes no sense. And we should never forget that until like 200 years ago, vast majority of humanity was illiterate. Let's not forget that before 150, 200 years ago, majority of humanity was literally illiterate. People did not know how to read, how to write. And only few people were actually able to write the books or translate the books, right? Share the knowledge about stuff. And we don't know who translated what and with what intention. And now we have a situation when, for example, in Bible where we have in Georgian it's or in Russian it's like Novy Zaviat, Stary Zaviat. It's a new revelation and the old revelation, right? In English, that's how it will be, I guess. And how come that old revelation is the same Torah for Jews, for example? Jews have, of course, on top of that, they have this Talmud and all sorts of additional stuff, right? That indoctrinates people into all sorts of strange beliefs. And that beliefs are dominating Israel in particular. But yes, how come that Torah and all the Revelation are the same books, man? I find it strange, to say the least. And yet again, I'm not a theologist. I don't want to get into all sorts of discussions, but to me, it is enough that when I was like, I don't know, a few days older, I was baptized in Orthodox Christianity as Orthodox Christian, and I'm gonna die as Orthodox Christian. My kids are Orthodox Christian. Their kids gonna be Orthodox Christian, and that's all, by the way, right? And Orthodox Christianity teaches to be a good human being. That's enough for me personally. Enough doctrine, enough strategy, man. I'm not gonna go any deeper than that, right? So that's my take. So that's how it is, man. Right? So I don't know, Scooby. I'm not a Christian fanatic or fundamentalist or stuff like that. I don't know what's gonna happen, what God's plan is, and I don't really believe in much of a prophecies and stuff like that, right? Because I don't know, man. I don't know. So that's how it is. Thank you very much once again. Thank you very much, and yeah, I guess my answer is not good enough. But yes, I mean, that's all I can say right now. And I see comments that if I have seen strikes on the Israeli Defense Ministry. No, I have not. Maybe this happened like literally a few minutes ago. As I said, I mean, there is a religious discussion now in the chat, right? And dear friends, yet again, I'm not a theologist. I'm not an expert, right? I don't really deep into that whole stuff, right? And so, huh? When? Oh, really? Oh, thank you very much, Luca, for $10 donation through PayPal right now. Thank you very much, NSPK, for donation. Thank you, and Scooby is also commenting here. I'm actually kind of agnostic. I just read the Bible recently. I mean, I'm baptized, right? I'm baptized Orthodox Christian, so therefore, I mean, that's how it is. I am personally. My mom is a religious, much more religious than I am, right? For example, I am, not really that deep into religion, by the way. Definitely not a religious fanatic or fundamentalist. That's for sure, right? And I'm not the best person to have a knowledgeable discussion about religion and stuff, right? I mean, I cannot go deep discussions about it because there are people that actually, there are many people that know better than our level know, right? All that stuff. And so, okay, that's been said, dear friends. So once again, my apologies that at some point I went crazy about this fucking Trump and Netanyahu and all that garbage and human scum. sorry for this. Sorry for this. Nerves get to me and emotions. But yeah, things happen, man. Things happen. We are humans, right? And I hate this freaking reality when Western world is actually driving the humanity towards the edge, right? And we are stuck. We are kind of rest of the humanity are kind of stuck in a nonsensical freaking discussions, while we should be more proactive and do something about this existential threat that we are facing, right? And the Western ruling class is an evil force, and not because I believe that they are like satanic worshippers or stuff like that. Maybe they are, by the way, but because of their policies, because of their actions, right? They are pushing humanity towards total disaster. And we should be focused on that as a humanity, I believe, right? We should get united. Who cares, are you Orthodox Christian, Catholic, or Protestant, or Muslim, or the Buddhist, or the Hindu? We are humans, right? We should get united, call it as it is, that Western ruling class is an evil force, and do something about it, right? That's what I think. That's what should be done. And we should exterminate them, man, right? You cannot transform those animals into human beings again. Impossible. Impossible, right? I'm not gonna play no games, man. You cannot make a good human from the Western elites. You have to exterminate them. As you cannot do anything with a rabid animal but to kill it, right? You have to kill rabid animal, man. You cannot treat the rabid animal. Not possible. Best way is to kill it, put it to sleep. And that's how it is. And I never said that I'm a freaking pacifist or something like that. No, I see my enemy clearly. Western ruling class is my enemy, and I want my enemy to be dead. Period. Right? And soon humanity will see the same, the better. Better. Let's continue now, right? I have a lot of news to share with you, friends. My apologies for this emotional rant, and for my French, man. I mean, what the hell is wrong with me, man? Why am I'm going this wild time to time? I don't know, but you know, I'm a freaking idiot too, man. So okay, there are more news, right? That I want to share. There are more news, by the way, and so let's go through this news now. Air defense worker and the first air defense work, by the way. Yeah, Mickey is commenting. I respect all the religions that preaches peace and cooperation. And I mean, yet again, I'm not an expert in religion stuff, but I think that's what all major religions are. That's the interpretation that we have to take from those religions, right? To be gooder, kinder, decent, as much as you possibly can, not to harm no one else, right? Only in only enemy, by the way, right? Only if you attacked, then yeah, defend yourself, but don't be aggressor. That kind of stuff. All religions should be about the same stuff with different words, right? Anyways, let's go through some other news, sir. And air defense systems past night intercepted 76 drones that were launched by Kurdish with assistance of NATO. 33 drones were intercepted over the Sarat region, and well, according to reports that I see, Kurdish and NATO was trying to target Engels city, and there is a air base in Engels where strategical aviation is located of the Russian Federation. And I don't know. I don't know if any of the drones reached their airbase, if there was any damage or not. I did see reports in the media that a number of civilians were wounded as a result of this large-scale attack on the Sarat region. 17 drones were intercepted over the Black Sea, 10 in the Crimea, 9 in the Rostov region, 4 in the Krasnodar region, 2 in the Volgograd region, and 1 in the Astrakhan region. I will remind you, dear friends, that even though in upcoming days probably we will hear more information about the next round of trilateral talks. As of now, no updates, and Zelensky claimed like a week ago that our next round of talks might take place between 5th and 8th March. Today is 5th. No information about our negotiations, but Zelensky also made a claim during his interview with the Corriere della Sera that even if there is a temporary ceasefire agreed that Western elites are demanding from Russia, he would not hold elections in Kiev-controlled territory. He would not hold elections, right? So there is not really any incentive for Russia, isn't it, to agree on a temporary measures. There was never actually a reasonable incentive to agree on a temporary measures because this break will be used against Russia, obviously. And now that Zelensky said that even if ceasefire is reached, they're not going to hold elections, I think our picture is much more clear, or should be much more clear for Moscow. Also, Zelensky once again claimed in that very same interview that the regime will not withdraw its forces from remaining part of DPR that they still control. France and Germany allegedly are against Ukraine joining EU via fast-track plan. This information is coming from Financial Times, which is interesting. Usually, France and the UK are all about Kiev regime, and they are all about pleasing the Zelensky. What the hell has happened with them this time around? I don't know. Yesterday, Russian president signed a decree setting the authorized staffing level of the Russian armed forces at 2.4 million, including 1.5 million servicemen. So this is the Russian armed forces, official numbers, by the way, 2.4 million overall and 1.5 million servicemen. So there is no need to guess how many troops Russia has. This decree that was signed by Russian president is making it quite clear. Also, Slovakia terminates emergency electricity supply agreement with Ukraine. The government has approved their decision. Earlier, Slovak Prime Minister Fico did claim that they're going to stop supplying electricity to the regime, but according to reports in alternative media, there was still flow of electricity from Slovakia to Kiev regime, and I even mentioned this in one of my updates. And now we have this report that the government of Slovakia approved the decision, so no more emergency supplies of electricity for Kiev-controlled territory. Finland intends to lift restrictions on nuclear weapons, which is a disturbing development, of course, especially if you keep in mind all these talks lately about becoming nuclear throughout the European NATO member states. Of course, this decision on part of Finnish leadership is an indicator that either France or US, maybe both, will deploy their tactical nuclear weapons on the territory of Finland. And, Russia will have no choice, really, but to direct dozen or 2 dozen of Russian nuclear warheads on Finnish territory. I mean, I'm quite sure no one really wants that. And you know what that means, by the way? You know what that means when Russian warheads, when coordinates of any area in this world are being taken by the Russian strategical forces. You know what that means? That means that if there is a nuclear war, and even if in imaginary scenario, Western ruling class succeed to eliminate all of Russian military and political leadership, so there is no one left to give order to launch missiles. Well, dead hand, did you hear ever that dead hand system that is operational here in Russia since the Soviet era, actually? Well, if entire political and military leadership is killed, dead hand begins operating. Program, by the way, sort of AI, right? And that AI will launch missiles automatically in the directions towards the coordinates that it will have. And so if Helsinki, for example, suddenly become coordinates of the Helsinki, become a potential target, because Helsinki is now housing NATO's nuclear weapons, US or French, or potentially in the future even British, if Brits will develop tactical nukes. Well, this dead hand system will automatically launch missiles. So it's a serious stuff. When your coordinates are taken by Russian strategical forces, that's a serious stuff. That means you are a potential target of Russian nukes. So no one should want that, right? No one should want that. And well, Finland will actually begin housing Western nuclear weapons. They will become a target of Russian nuclear weapons, potential target. I don't know if Finnish people are realizing this or not, but yeah, that's what is happening. And if anybody thinks that, West is so powerful that they will kill everybody in Russia and they would not be able to strike back, really? Tell that to that dead hand program that has no care, man, who is killed and who is alive. That program's task is to just launch as many nukes as possible, right, towards their coordinates that it has. That's all. No emotions, no nothing. So extremely, extremely dangerous games on behalf of Helsinki, but yet again, Finland is run by freaking psychopaths, globalist prostitutes, so no surprises there, really. Also, press spokesman of the Russian president commented on recent this activation of the nuclear talks in Europe, and well, let me give you details on that. Announcement of France partnership with a non-nuclear Germany on the nuclear weapons issues only underscores Russia's point. Without taking European arsenals into account, no strategic stability negotiations with the United States alone are possible. This was stated by press spokesman of the Russian president, Dmitry Peskov, and that means that if US demands China to be part of potential future negotiations on the nuclear arms control, and Russia is demanding these European nuclear powers to be part of it too, France and the UK. I mean, one might argue that UK don't really own no nukes because without US they cannot really do much. Yeah, partially true, but nevertheless, formally it's British nukes, right? It's a British nukes. So and UK formally is a nuclear country, nuclear armed country, and therefore, if there will be any talks in the future, any negotiations on nuclear armed controls, well, US can demand all along China to be part of it, and we can demand also that these European countries going to be part of it too. But nowadays, by the way, I mean, if anything, we have to talk about nuclear non-proliferation because too often and too many countries, leadership of those countries are talking about becoming a nuclear. And on this very matter, just a few days ago, Polish Prime Minister Tusk openly, publicly stated that Poland will eventually seek its own nuclear weapons. They are not even hiding no more, right? And of course, Moscow is listening. I'm quite sure Berlin is listening also, because I think there is a high probability that Poland will end up in a war with Germany much faster than with Russia. I think war between Poland and Germany are absolutely inevitable. While I am not quite sure that war between Poland and Russia is inevitable. If Warsaw War did not provoke Russia, we have no issue, no Poland. We don't want nothing from Poland, man, right? So if Poland stays out of direct confrontation with Russia, there's gonna be no war between us. But Germany is a different story, man. Poland and Germany are arch rivals, of course. They hate each other, literally hate each other, by the way, right? Uh, I know some people is failing to this, are so naive that they are failing to this fake love throughout the Europe and throughout the Western world. I mean, these are so friendly, man, so friendly nations. They so love each other, right? So respect each other. And when you hear some kind of nonsense, or that kind of nonsense, you cannot help but wonder. I mean, how these people can be this naive, man? Don't they know anything about real life? They hate each other throughout the Europe. By the way, everybody hates everybody, literally. They hate each other. You're gonna struggle to find the French that actually loves and respects Germans, man. You're gonna struggle to find the French that actually loves and respects Brits, English especially. And same is other way around, right? They hate each other historically for centuries, man, since their existence. And well, among other rivalry there in Europe, of course, big one is Poland versus Germany. Both countries are militarizing big time, spending a lot of money. Poland is ahead of Germany right now. And in terms of military weaponry, Poland is actually like several times more powerful on paper, or should be at least several times more powerful than Germany is, right? But Germany, if German people know anything, they know how to fight too, right? And I don't think I have to go into that much more. 2 world wars were quite enough, right? To believe that, yeah, Germans not just know how to fight, but they kind of love that kind of stuff, right? And so, yes, Germany will catch up quickly with Poland. Give it 5-10 years, and in 10 years' time, yeah, they're gonna be on the same level approximately. Germany will be probably more powerful. And between 10 and 15 years, these two are going to fight each other. So, of course, when Polish prime minister is saying that they're going to go nuclear eventually, German leadership might think, you know what? I mean, maybe it is reasonable to go nuclear also, just in case. And they might, by the way. Germany has, unlike Poland, Germany actually has latent nuclear deterrent. If they want to, they can build nuclear weapons. They have material, they have necessary science, technology. They have everything to build nukes. While Poland has to study the stuff, right? Anyways, let's hope none of them, there will be no new members in the nuclear club, because the world is already fucked up enough, right? But unfortunately, a non-nuclear nuclear proliferation seems to be inevitable future of this world. Putin had a meeting with Peter Szijjártó, foreign minister of Hungary. They discuss energy cooperation between the sides, of course, some other topics. And while on his way back, Peter Szijjártó talked with him 2 Hungarian citizens that were released by Russian Federation. And those 2 Hungarian citizens were POWs. They've been forcefully mobilized by Kyiv regime in Ukraine, end up being taken prisoner by Russian forces, and as a goodwill gesture, Moscow freed those 2 Hungarian citizens. And I saw a video when Peter Szijjártó was greeting those people in a plane on their way back to Hungary. Also, dear friends, Russian president stated that Moscow might end gas supplies to EU, which will be well interesting. Of course, Russia might withdraw from the European gas market and redirect its supplies elsewhere without waiting for the EU to ban its imports. President Vladimir Putin has stated. The president made remarks on the Wednesday after hosted Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó at the Kremlin, and then quote, by the way, that I want to give you. There is no political motive here, but if we are going to get shut off in a month or two, we'd better off to stopping now and moving to countries that are reliable partners and establishing ourselves there. But that's not a decision. That's not a decision yet. It's just me thinking out of loud, so to speak. I'll definitely instruct the government to work on this issue with our companies, Putin told the Russian journalist Pavel Zarubin. And well, he basically kind of sent a message to these European Russophobes, right? That, you know what, you are messing around too much, and all we have to do is just direct our gas flow towards other countries. There is a lot of buyers, and I think this statement of Putin was related to his recent attack on a Russian LNG tanker in the Mediterranean, right? Of course, that LNG, main buyer of Russian LNG, by the way, there is a number of countries in Europe that are main buyers of Russian LNG, right? France being one of them, for example. France, Spain, I believe, buys a lot of Russian LNG. No, I mean, not as on a level that they buy from US, of course, but still, they buy quite enough LNG from Russia. France, Spain, Netherlands, others, Germany. And I guess Putin hinted there that if you're not going to provide protection for Russian commercial vessels, if you're going to attack Russian commercial vessels, then we will just cut you off and send our stuff to other markets. And I think that's exactly what is going to happen. That's exactly what is going to happen. I don't think we should maintain cooperation with European countries, with exception of few that that prove to be reliable partner. Despite all these difficult times, there are a few countries in Europe that prove to be reliable, trustworthy partners, but rest, no. Let's cut. Let's stop doing business with them then, right? And that's the direction for sure. That's the direction, because yet again, when there is no trust, there can be no serious business, isn't it? And I don't think anybody among the leadership of Russian energy companies are full of trust towards this European leadership of European countries or the European energy companies that turn their back on Russian partners. So something to keep in mind, by the way, something to keep in mind. And this statement of Putin probably already influenced the gas prices in Europe that are already like extremely high, highest since the 2023, I believe. And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning, because I believe Qatari LNG supplies to world market might be distracted for a very long time. Very long time. Especially if globalists, Zionists and their allies succeeded with their plans to destabilize all of the Middle East. Qatar Energy, the state-owned energy giant, declared the force majeure and suspended operations due to Iranian drone attacks. Yet again, this is a mistake on part of RIA Novosti. I think they should not use this language due to Iranian drone attacks. Iran did not attack Qatari energy infrastructure. it's a claim on behalf of other parties that Iran attacked. Iran did not claim attacking energy infrastructure of the neighboring countries. So RIA should be a little more careful here. Otherwise, I mean, they are kind of spreading their misinformation that is coming from the West. Anyways, quote here, Qatari Energy announces that it has notified customers affected by the interruption of LNG and related products production of their force majeure. The sudden closure of their export terminal led to sharp rise in the gas prices in Europe, which jumped to their highest level since the 2023. Analysts believe that if the conflict in the Middle East drags on, EU risks facing a price shock comparable to that seen in spring 2022 when prices rose to 3.8 dollar per thousand, $3,800 per thousand cubic meters. Qatar Energy is the world's largest gas supplier, suspended their operations at all facilities on Monday due to drone attacks following their escalation in the region. So, I mean, according to gas exporting countries forum, Qatar is one of their top 3 producers and their sailors of the LNG, accounting for approximately 20% of the global exports. Qatar is a big player in terms of LNG, and their prices already spiked in Europe. Prices on LNG gonna inevitably rise, of course, and stay high. And I don't think either Australia or US, leading countries in LNG production, are able to recover for a loss of 20% of their LNG from their on the market. And therefore, yes, price is going to rise, and Russia can easily redirect its LNG from European customers to other markets, and should do this. Those are LNG tankers, by the way. They cost hundreds of millions to build, right? It's tremendously expensive vessels. And one of those vessels were targeted in the Mediterranean just a few days ago. It's tremendously risky, man. Why anybody think it's a good idea to send these tremendously expensive vessels with tremendously expensive goods on a border towards the Europe into Mediterranean, when we already had instances when commercial vessels, Russian commercial vessels, or vessels linked to Russia being targeted? I don't know, man. I don't know. This is strange. I mean, so many strange things are happening, isn't it? And that's about it. That's about it when it comes to news segment, right? But before I go, dear friends, let me check. Latest updates on that become available literally like a few minutes ago. Let's check on the analyst if they are reporting, if they reported in past 1.5 to 2 hours any breaking news, sir. What? That's strange. Baku threatens Tehran. So you see on RIA Novosti, by the way, this report that Iran has refused to allow enemy ships to pass through Strait of Hormuz, but same time they are claiming that they didn't shut down their strait, so vessels that are not linked to hostiles, they can pass through. And I believe yesterday at least 2 vessels passed through Hormuz Strait linked to friendly nations to Iran. And let's read this information, by the way. What's going on here? Baku will respond to Tehran following their interception of a drone in Nakhichevan, the Azerbaijan Defense Ministry stated. The Azerbaijani Ministry of Defense is preparing retaliatory measures to protect their country's territorial integrity and sovereignty, ensure the safety of civilians and civilian infrastructure, and any attacks by Iran will not go unanswered, the ministry noted. Baku authorities reported that on Thursday afternoon, one drone crashed into the airport terminal building in Nakhichevan, and another crashed near the school in the village of Shekerabad. Two people were injured. The Azerbaijani Foreign Ministry summoned the Iranian ambassador and called for a clarification of the situation. Baku is playing games here, man. Baku is playing games, very dangerous games with Iran. They know perfectly well. They know perfectly well that Iran didn't targeted Azerbaijan. Has no reason to target Azerbaijan, right? If anything, either yet again Israel and US is engaged in this provocation, or maybe Azerbaijani Secret Services itself. Maybe they launch. Azerbaijan itself launched these drones, targeted these areas, and now they're gonna blame Iran. Either way, uh, Iran is not involved. I have no doubts about it, right? And tough talk from Baku against Iran might cost this republic dearly. Dearly, by the way. I mean, I don't think Baku is in. Maybe Azerbaijani leadership is drunk with the recent successes when they militarily defeated basically Nagorno-Karabakh Republic and Armenia, generally speaking. But in case of Iran, they are messing with their own country, man. They are messing with their own country. And someone have to tell this to Azerbaijani leadership. They might easily get drawn into a war that they cannot pull off. Right? We will see. We will see, by the way. But yeah, that's quite a disturbing developments there. That Azerbaijan is using this tough talk now and blaming Iran for the drone strikes. I don't believe single word that coming out from Baku, man, capital of Azerbaijan. Single word, man. Nah. And you know what? You know what? Let's. I mean, Lavrov stated that NATO is being drawn into a war against Iran. Yes, I spoke about it in my update. Okay, by the way, let's now check some Telegram channels. Let's now check some Telegram channels for the latest, and that's about it. You see, it is good towards the end of the live stream. I should always check updates for the latest, right? Because there's always something. And so let's go for some Telegram channels. And right now you can see, by the way, this is a report from DD Geopolitics. You can see there, drone. This is Azerbaijan, Nakhichevan area, Nakhichevan autonomous area, and there is a drone that is failing, and then explosion, and Baku blamed Iran for this. I don't take this seriously even for a second. I don't believe that Iran targeted Azerbaijan. Have no reason, really, makes no sense. If anyone benefits from this, is the Western ruling class, US, Israel. So why blame Iran? Why Baku is playing alongside their enemies of Iran? Maybe because Baku is a British proxy. Maybe because Baku is a Israeli proxy. Well, might be the case. Well, might be the case. The US continues to indirectly assist Ukraine, and the many anti-Russian sanctions have already been imposed there under the Trump. Lavrov reminded the public, yes, we know, and we should not treat US as a sort of a mediator during those trilateral talks. So US is a part of a war, part of a problem, right? And that's why I was kind of frustrated when, and I'm still frustrated with this still ongoing talks between Kremlin and the White House. Makes no sense, right? Makes no sense whatsoever. Why would anyone would want to be engaged in talks with a bastard of orangutan, man? I don't know. It was a Bill Maher, isn't it, that first said that Trump is a bastard of orangutan. Yeah, he is, man. He is clearly an animal, right? A despicable animal, for sure. Let's check RT for some updates. Well, IDF every now and then publishes videos of their attacks on Iranian territory. Well, Israeli President Herzog did an interview with CBS, and I really don't care about a single word that this war criminal and genocidal maniac have to say. No, not a single word from him is believable. Also, same animal as Netanyahu, by the way, rabid animal, right? That's all I can say about Israeli leadership. President, prime minister, everyone else, rabid animals, period. And I don't give a fuck if anybody will say, oh, you are, what they say, anti-Semite. How you can say about Israeli leadership that they are animals? Yeah, I can say that because they are freaking rabid animals, man. I have no respect for them. I don't see them as humans, right? I don't see Israeli fascists to be human beings. Period. I'm saying this, right? They are not a human beings, man. They are fucking rabid animals that kill tens of thousands of innocent people. And sorry, but I'm not going to consider to be human creatures that are capable of that. Genociding innocent, right? And I'm not playing no freaking games. Call me anti-Semite, whatever you want, man. How am I anti-Semite when I have no, I mean, Semites are Arabs too, man. I have no issue with the Arabs. I have issue with the fascist Israelis because they are fascists, and how anybody cannot have an issue with the fascists and genocidal maniacs, right? So fuck Israel, man, right? Fuck Israeli fascists, those fucking animals, period. They can block my channel anytime. I don't give a fuck about that too. I am moving to my Patreon anyways, right? And if they block my Patreon, I will move elsewhere. I will continue to do my thing, man. And will be real always. No respect to fucking animals, man. Thicker smoke rises from the burning Iranian warships. And you can see a video right now on your screen. Yeah, another animal. Two animals, actually. Pet hexet and... What? Oh, really? Holy shit. Why you did not tell me before now? It does not work, man. Anna just told me that she gonna be mad on me, man, for using too much French today. But yeah, you know, uh, yeah, you can see here these two so-called defense ministers of two fascist regimes, Israel and U.S. Right, and well, let's go through that video then. That's the video that I was talking about when drone is failing. You can see on your screen right now. You should see, right? This is Nakhichevan autonomous region of the Azerbaijan, and Baku blamed Iran, but I'm quite sure Iran has nothing to do with it, because this type of actions only benefit Israel, US, Western ruling class, right, and their proxies. And Azerbaijan leadership is a proxy of Israel and their Western ruling class, London, right? If you don't believe me, ask leadership of not even UK, by the way, BP. Ask head of BP's office in Azerbaijan. Anyways, what else is here? And that's a video. Allegedly smoke is coming out from burning military vessels of Iran. Could be a case, I don't know. Toronto has 10,000 more realtors than Canada has active soldiers. Okay. Massive US strikes hit Iran's Sananjabar, targeting Imam Ali military base in Kurdistan province. Well, US and Israel, they are preparing ground for invasion, of course, in western Iran. They already are working with Iraqi Kurds, and they might launch invasion. If Kurds will agree, either Iranian Kurds or Iraqi Kurds will agree to play along with this satanic force that US and Israel are, and the Western ruling class generally speaking, then that will be maybe last mistake they will ever commit, because I mean, they might not even survive, right, to tell the story. Because if Western ruling class succeeds in its intent, they will create a regional scale war on ethnic and sectarian lines, and Kurdish people might literally face the extinction if they will engage that war, if they become a part of that war. I don't know if Kurdish people in Iraq or Iran have intelligent enough leadership to understand this, but they should be careful. They should be careful, man. Right? They are making too much noise, really. And everyone should know its place, right? Well, Financial Times is reporting again that while Europe is facing another severe energy crisis, EU might try to enhance gas imports from Russia. No, thanks. I hope Russian president was serious, by the way, in that interview with Pavel Zarubin, and I hope Russia will cut all energy supplies to hostile states from Europe. There are few friendly ones or few neutral ones, right? Hungary, Slovakia, Serbia, of course. Serbian leadership might be failure, but people of Serbia are our brothers, by the way, and sisters. So therefore, we should always maintain as good relationships and cooperation as we possibly can. I can name a few more. And that's about it. The rest of the Europe, well, good luck with everything, of course. But to do business, no thanks, man. Too risky, man. Right? And we should learn the lesson by now. I mean, Trump promised that U.S. will provide all the necessary volume of gas, isn't it? LNG. So let the Americans provide LNG. It might cost like 3 times more than Russian pipeline gas, but nevertheless, it's still a gas, right? And in any ways, I did not see mass protests throughout the Europe about Russophobic policies of the leadership of these European countries. So therefore, I guess population majority at least will be okay paying 3 times more or 5 times more. I don't even know, man. Difference. It's clearly more expensive, anyways, right? That Russian pipeline gas or Russian LNG, for that matter. Defense Secretary Hexet and Secretary of State Rubio reportedly at each other's throat over deploying U.S. troops to Iran. Middle Easter, oh really? Middle Easter citing sources. Middle East Eye is reporting citing sources. Rubio opposes prolonged entanglement while Hexet is pushing for deployment. I mean, they are both puppets. None of them are true decision makers. Am I correct? They are just acting to be important. True decision makers are very different people, and they will decide somehow without all this drama between Hexet and Rubio what are American troops gonna do and when and how. It's not up to Rubio and Hexet, man. They will just sign the paper when told. That's all. And their boss will do the same. That orangutan busted. Or busted of the orangutan. How you say in English, orangutan? In Russian, it's orangutan, right? That orange monkey. Clever ones, you know. I think real orangutans probably are more clever than Trump is, actually. So it might be insulting for orangutans to say that Trump is their bastard. Yeah, a little bit of dark humor here, by the way. Russia has not received any requests for assistance from Iran, Peskov stated. And well, that's interesting. That's interesting. Maybe in coming days, Iran will make official public request for assistance. But even if Iran did not make already official request, I have no doubt, by the way, that Iran is receiving assistance from Russia in many forms, in many ways, right? And also from China. I know on the internet, by the way, there is this another false flag narrative that was pushed from the West, that look, Russia and China are doing nothing to support their ally Iran and this and that, and this is all nonsense, right? You think you think Iran is able to pinpoint targets throughout the region and strike them? How? How Iran knows where to strike and how to strike? They don't really have satellite grouping in space. They have few satellites, but not on a scale that is necessary to be able to succeed in such operations. You think how come that Iran is able to build so many missiles and drones? From where this whole stuff is coming from, right?
So just because neither Iran, neither Russia or China are bragging about doing some stuff, it does not mean that there is no cooperation. Because there is a cooperation, right? There is. And will continue on the scale that is necessary. So don't buy, dear friends, to this false narrative that, well, you see Russia and China drop their Iran and are not providing no assistance. There is assistance, right? There is. As I said, we cannot allow Western ruling class to succeed, man, in its attempt to drag entire Middle East into a madness of total chaos and regional war on ethnic and sectarian lines. So we will do whatever is necessary. And that's about it. That's about it. I think yeah, that's about it. Hopefully you find their update informative and useful, dear friends. Once again, my apologies for excessive French in today's program and excessive emotions, but yeah, I'm a human being too, by the way, and yeah, that's how it is. Sometimes I just go crazy. Okay, sometimes I just go crazy, but that's the entertaining part of this project, actually, because many members of our community actually like when I go emotional, right? So that's the entertaining part of it. When it comes to news part, hopefully you find it informative and interesting, right? And if so, please indicate that with a like under this video and commentary. And the commentary. And so that's about it, dear friends. That's about it. I don't know today's schedule, how it will go. Yesterday, yesterday I had 2 live streams in the first half of the day and the second. And in the middle of the day, we had a freaking snowstorm. And I had prepared the program. I was planning to go out. And, when I was looking to the weather, but it was a snowstorm and everything. And I was thinking, how I'm going to film? How I'm going to film in this weather, right? I mean, how? And therefore, I had no walking talk video yesterday. There was a snow a few hours ago before I launched the stream. There was snowing again. And if there's going to be snow, too much snow or the rain, then I would not go out, of course. But if not, then maybe I'll do walking talk today, maybe. And let's see if there will be interesting or important developments throughout the day, news-wise. Of course, I will launch a second live stream in that case, late evening today, either 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. Let's see how it goes, dear friends. But yet again, I hate that I went too emotional. I went emotional. I don't feel good, man, about it when I say some crap. I go emotional, then I say some crap, and I'm my best, my top critic, right? And I'm gonna be not happy entire freaking day now, criticizing myself that why I go emotional, why I lose cooler, and blah blah blah. Yeah, so sorry, dear friends. Sorry, I myself don't like this stuff, but yeah, shit happens, right? At least a news segment was interesting and useful, I hope, right? And yeah. That's it for now. If you, despite my emotional outrages or rants time to time and excessive use of French, if you like my work, if you want to support her, I reminded you, friends, that you can do it through several means. You can donate through PayPal or Boosty, or you can subscribe to my Patreon page and their page on Boosty. Of course, links are under this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Have a wonderful day. Be safe and take care. Bye.